My handwriting is bad. I mean, it's horrible. If you see it, you might have a hard time reading it. I have a hard time reading it sometimes, especially if it's something I wrote down a while ago that I haven't looked at recently. It's a little embarrassing too. I recently turned 40 years old and I have bad handwriting. I don't submit anything to anyone in handwritten form if I can avoid it. I'm very particular about work. Everything has got to be typed. The few times anyone sees my handwriting, they notice right away. It's the first thing they see, and I get those jokes. Oh, you missed your calling. You should have been a doctor. You write just like one. Ha ha ha. I've heard that dozens of times throughout my life. It doesn't bother me that much, and I roll with the punches, but I also am a little jealous of those who have beautiful handwriting, or at least decent handwriting. So why am I thinking about this now? Well, I noticed something recently. I was watching a video from Always Analog on YouTube. He reviews pencils and pens and typewriters and all kinds of analog goodies. And he was reviewing a pencil and he was writing, and I noticed that the way he holds his pencil is not how I hold my pencil. And his handwriting is beautiful. And I thought, what am I doing wrong? Should I be holding it like him? I don't understand. I just had never noticed this. So I asked my wife, Doris. She's a teacher. She's familiar with matters of handwriting and reading and speech. And she said, oh yeah, you don't hold your pen or pencil correctly. You have a left hook. I was like, I have a left hook? I'm not a boxer. What are you talking about? She's like, no. And she showed me. And so I went and I Googled this, left hook and how to teach left-handed writing and things like that. And I was overwhelmed. I was amazed. Sure enough, for my entire life, since I learned how to write, I have been writing incorrectly. The Handedness Research Institute, they had a brief PDF that summarizes this really well. And they said, writing with the left hand is not just the opposite from writing right-handed. If a child is only permitted to write with the left hand but not taught how to write, they may develop a needlessly uncomfortable, inefficient, slow, or messy way of writing that will be a lifelong hardship. That's exactly what's happened to me. It's very uncomfortable for me to write the way I do. It's slow. It's messy. And it does indeed feel like a hardship. Even in my childhood, I hated handwriting. I'm not exaggerating. I hated it. It was painful. It was messy. I knew it wasn't very good compared to other students. It was really difficult. Now, part of that was I didn't grip my pencil correctly. I just absolutely struggled with that. But even in, my late teen, early adult years, at some point, I did start gripping the pen correctly because it was just too painful to do it like I used to. I couldn't even demonstrate it for you now. I don't remember what I used to do. But I didn't realize, even though I was gripping the pen correctly, my hand and paper position were still poor, and I still found it difficult to write for long periods of time, and my handwriting was still bad. And part of that too is I don't form my letters very well. My E's especially are awful. I do this thing where I kind of do a curve like a C and then draw the middle line because it's 2 strokes instead of 4. And maybe I did that because I was just being a lazy student, or maybe I do it because it was just easier because I found handwriting difficult. I don't know. But there's some work to be done there. Now that I know everything I know, and I've seen like what the Handedness Research Institute wrote and seen illustrations of how handwriting should be done versus how I've been doing it. To be honest, it made me very angry for a moment. I was very mad that I have not known this, that for so many years I have been writing poorly and that I hadn't been taught to do some more of these things correctly as a child. It's very frustrating. In 10th grade, I took keyboarding, and I'm glad I did. That was a very useful class to take. Not a lot of boys took that, and even in the 90s, and even though we had some computers, the keyboarding lab was still all typewriters. And I took it because, yes, I was really interested in computers, and I thought it would be good to do, but I very seriously had a view that if I can learn to type well, I won't have to write anymore. And I don't want to write anymore. I hate handwriting. And the good thing is that did motivate me to be very good at typing. I learned good typing. I learned proper posture, working from the home row, all those things you learn when you learn to type. But I didn't know if I had just learned how to write correctly and write with good posture and good positioning, I might enjoy that too. But now I know. So what do I do with this information? Well, I could keep being angry and frustrated, or I could do something about it. So I've decided this year, 2022, at the age of 40, that I'm going to go back to the basics and teach myself writing again. I've actually downloaded some worksheets from the internet showing how to form letters for a lefty. You see here I am using one just kind of for fun. This is a bit humbling to be using one of these worksheets after so many years, although it was a much less embarrassing to use this one than the one that was like D is for dog and E is for elephant. But I want to learn how to form my letters properly. I want to learn how to position my hand correctly, position my paper correctly, get rid of the left hook, and just be able to write more legibly, more comfortably, and more confidently. For now, I'm sticking with block letters, print letters. I'm not sure exactly what you call them, proper terminology, but that is, not cursive. And maybe I will revisit cursive eventually. I have not used cursive writing at all since grade school, partly because I just haven't done much handwriting except quick note-taking since grade school. But for now, I want to focus on block letters. I'm going to use pencils more and get comfortable with those again. I think I may enjoy using them more now that I know how to write correctly. And I'm finding that, it is nice when using a really good pencil like this Tombow 2558 that I'm showing in the video. It's a very pleasant experience. It glides on the paper, much less resistance than a pen. I mean, Memo's right. Okay, pencils are nice to write with. I think it's also good because it gives me something much less familiar. I'm so used to using pens that perhaps it may be good to use something a little unfamiliar for a while I practice learning writing again. So that's it. That's something I'm going to be working on this year, and I thought I'd share it, and maybe it'll encourage others if you felt like you should revisit writing or do something to change it, and you're thinking, gosh, is that silly to do when I'm so old? Well, I'm telling you, I'm doing it. I'm 40, and I don't know exactly what'll happen or how much I'll change things, but I'm going to explore it, and I'm excited about it. Anyways, I hope you found this interesting, helpful, informative, entertaining. If you did, please give me a like, and I will eventually do some more videos to follow up on my handwriting journey. Probably not a lot, but maybe in a few months I'll share where I'm at. If you'd like to see those, I invite you to subscribe. I also do lots of Bible reviews, book reviews, and things of that nature. As always, I thank you for watching. God bless. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Well, when my students work with their handwriting, I have them draw a star or a heart over the very best one. I think that A you did is particularly good. Both of these C's are very nice.
We've been together for almost 6 years. How come you didn't tell me was it left hook or I wasn't holding my pen correctly?
Well, I mean, I noticed it by our second or third date, but I didn't feel like that was really the material you would bring up that early on in the relationship.
Well, now I know.
There you go. You're doing good work. Keep it up.
Oh boy.